Hello, students, and welcome to another week of Humanities 101. I hope that you are engaging with the text. I hope that you're getting something out of this. I know that Arts and Ideas, that this is a difficult text for just sitting down and reading through. But hopefully, as you take the reading quizzes and you're really diving into this stuff, and maybe if you see a piece of art or you read about something that sounds engaging, take that a step further and do your own research. Maybe Google it and see what else you can learn about it. That's a great way to engage with our text. So if you find that it's maybe a little bit tough to get through, or maybe you're not getting anything out of it, I really want to encourage you to do that. Find some other information about the parts that you do find engaging. I want to raise a couple different questions here for you to think about this week. As you go through the text, definitely focus on the elements that are going to be in the reading quiz. This week, you're going to look at one of the paintings that I think is most fascinating and the one that I love to study the most, and that's the one on page 320, Jan van Eyck, that you may have seen that painting before. It's kind of it gets memed sometimes, and it's kind of a very famous piece of artwork. So, but it's also has a lot of symbolism in it, and your text is going to pick through that with you and talk about the different symbolism. And then as you're looking at the artwork, I'm going to raise the first question I want to ask you, and that is this. How do we look at art? How do we look at art? So remember too, when we say art, we're not just talking about paintings. We're not just talking about something tangible that hangs on a wall. When we talk about art or artwork in this class, we're referring to music, painting, drawing, architecture. We're talking about sculpture. We're talking about statues, stained glass windows. We're talking about all different kinds of visual and other types of art as well. So how do you view art? How do you take it in? And how ultimately are you going to view this piece of art? What kind of judgments do you bring to the table when you look at artwork or when you experience art? We all are going to come with different judgments. I know I will find myself, because I love realism, immediately going to the pieces and the parts that aren't realistic. And so even in music, sometimes I'll hear mistakes before I am able to enjoy what's going on. I'll hear, lyrics that aren't accurate. In paintings, I'll notice when the line is off or it's not realistic, something like that. I bring those judgments to me viewing art. Depending on, I try to get away from that. This is not a good thing. But it is something that we all bring to the table when we view art. Maybe we might bring cultural biases. So we might look at something and immediately think, oh, that comes from Latin America, or that comes from Native American artwork, something like that. Sometimes that's true. Sometimes those are judgments. Sometimes it's just the stylistic choice of the artist, who may not be that person at all. So how do we look at art? What kinds of biases do we bring to the table when we view it? And what are we looking for? So in this class, and you probably noticed already in the reading quizzes and the tests, that there's a lot to look at when you look at a piece of art. We're not just looking at the content. We're looking at style. We're looking at form, lighting. We're looking at if it's a piece of music, what emotions does it draw? What is the message? What is the symbolism? I think about soundtracks and the music that's behind movies and video games. What emotion is that music trying to invoke in you as you're consuming it? So what is the intent of the piece of artwork? So that's my first question for you. How do we look at art? What biases do we bring? And what are we looking at when we look at a piece of art? And then my second question for you is this, and I have a couple visuals to go with this question. So down below my lecture video here, you're going to see two paintings that I was able to view when I was visiting the Columbia, South Carolina Museum of Art. And I thought it was fascinating, and I had to save it. I took a picture and I saved the description so that I could share it with my class this semester. Basically, the two paintings that you'll be able to view in the photo is one completely black painting and one completely white. And that's it. There's no content. It's just two colors. And the description is fascinating. So I also took a picture of the description that the artist wrote about why he painted just this completely black and completely white painting. And basically what he says in his description is that, hey, it's not about you. I didn't do this for you. I didn't create this piece of art for you to look at something. I did it because for me, art is about the process. And so my second question for you to think about this week is, why is art being created? Who is this being created for? When you create something, who is it for? Are you doing it for the process, to enjoy the artistic process and the expression that comes from that? Or are you doing it for the viewer? Now, neither one is right or wrong. It simply depends on what your goal is as an artist. I have painted many, many things that were definitely not for the viewer. My painting skills are not fantastic. It's just not where I'm not a visual artist, really. But I still do it. I do it a lot, actually, because I enjoy the process. I don't care if anyone is going to look at it when I get done. I simply enjoy the act of sitting down and creating something. And that is where we get a whole career of a whole new area of what's called art therapy. We now have expressive arts therapy. We have creative arts therapy. There's music therapy. There's, poetry as therapy, writing, journaling, because we're starting to understand that the process of creating art has many, many benefits, both to the artist as well as to the viewer. It's therapeutic to view art. It's therapeutic to make art. And so go ahead and view those pictures that I took and kind of assess them yourself, and remember that second question: for whom or for what are we making art? Why are we artists in the first place? Is it for you, or is it for the potential viewer of the art? And then as we view different types of artwork in the text, keep that in mind. There may be something that you come across that as you're looking at it, you just think, why? Like, what is the purpose of this piece of artwork? I think of Vincent van Gogh. One of my favorite paintings is called Shoes, and it is literally just a painting of his shoes. And somebody might look at that and think, well, why? Why would you paint your shoes? They're not even nice shoes. But remember, why is he painting it? What is the act of creating something doing for him? Maybe it's not about me as the viewer. Maybe it's about him as the painter. So 2 questions to think about this week: 1 reading quiz, 1 discussion board. I will be hopping in there. As always, contact me if you need anything at all. ebrazel@mana.edu. And I am here if you need anything. Enjoy this week's lesson and all of the resources that go along with it. Have a great week, everybody.